Andy, do you know where we are today?
Where are you? Where in the world is Ty Herndon?
Sitting here in Vatican City in Rome.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Do you have an appointment with the Pope?
Well, I don't, but I was hoping to wave at him, from my Airbnb, which is on like the 5th floor. But it's beautiful here. We've been on about a 2-week getaway before this massive tour starts, and we just get out there and start singing some country music to everybody but the people in Rome, I guess.
Vatican City and Rome have been a hotbed for news since, the first American Pope got elected in the conclave. But the big epicenter of entertainment, at least, is going to be Frederick, Maryland next month in June, because you, Ty Herndon, are going to be joining us here at the Weinberg Center. You and I come from the exact same town, Meridian, Mississippi. How did a boy from Mississippi, small town Mississippi, go to larger-than-life Music City, Tennessee? How'd your journey take off?
My grandmother had her own radio show on WPRN in Butler, Alabama, which is about 17 miles from Meridian, Mississippi. And, for 42 years, she had that radio show. And from the time I was standing on Coca-Cola boxes at 7 years old singing on her show to doing churches and camp meetings. And from there, man, I just ended up working at Opryland USA in Nashville. And I got that job when I was 17 from just a live audition. And they were going to put me in a gospel show. And then something flipped, and they said, we're going to put you in this show called Today's Country Roads. That show turned into the Tennessee River Boys. We were there for another 3 years, and I left the group to go do Star Search in Los Angeles. And when I left, Marty Rowe took my place, and the Tennessee River Boys became Diamond Rio.
From 1995 to 2002, you ended up having 17 charting singles. Plethora of those entered the top 10. Songs like I Want My Goodbye Back, Hands of a Working Man, Love Too Much, Man Holding On. 3 went all the way to number 1. You got What Mattered Most, Living in a Moment, and It Must Be Love. So fast forward to 2020, just a few short years ago, right at the beginning of COVID. You're hitting number 1 again, this time on iTunes. You did a remake of Mark Hurd's Orphans of God.
We didn't slow down. I always say that COVID became the new cuss word in the country because, it was the third time the world stopped turning, and I know for myself, I went through a mental crisis, and I ended up, having to take a look at that. And coming out of that, I've become such an activist for mental health because I went on out of that, learned a lot about myself, and then did an album called Jacob. I started writing more from my heart and blood and bones, as my good friend Gary Burr, who wrote my first number 1 single, told me, man, you got to write from your blood and bones or don't bother doing it at all. So it was quite the musical journey. We're celebrating 30 years of me in the business. And when I say 30 years of me in the business, I say 30 years of a lot of people that helped me get there. So it's a celebration of life, love, and music. The show that you guys are going to see is probably a little more than you anticipated. It's a chronicle of these years, and I'm having more fun than I ever thought I would, to be honest with you. Almost as much as that 7-year-old had singing with my grandma on a radio show.
Friday, June 20th, live in concert at the Weinberg Center for the Arts right here in Frederick. Tickets, they'll be going fast. So get yours now online, weinbergcenter.org, so that you don't miss an incredible, unforgettable evening with Ty Herndon. Thank you so much for taking some time with us today.
Absolutely, man. I always like to say to the folks out there, sometimes you don't want to take a chance on country, but we were country when country wasn't cool, but we're country when country's cool now. So
yeah. And if you don't believe us, come hang out with us on Friday, June 20th. We'll prove it to you.